Hello, good evening. Hope you had a nice day. So, welcome back to lesson 4 today. So, before we start, just give a quick thumbs up if my voice is clear for you. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. So, like before starting today's session, let's have a quick recap of what we have learned in last class. So last class we learned like while loops, infinite while loops, the syntax, like how can we create a while loop, conditional statements, and if else, and how to code them, and using break keyword, how to break a infinite while loop. So today we'll start with nested while loop, and then we'll discuss about functions concept, which is very important concept of any programming language. Then we'll see the difference between global and local variables. So if possible, like by the end of today's lesson, depending on the time, I'll show you like how a data analysis project and a machine learning like project will look on a simple data set. So let me quickly share my screen. I've already shared the collab notebook. Let me share it again. Let me share my screen. So first let's do the nested while loop. So we stopped with this activity of creating a two table yesterday. So let me quickly create it again. So if I'm creating a two table simply, then what I've done here is, so let me, so let me, so this is what we have done yesterday. So we just created this and so we just created this. So now we are going to see the nested while loop where if we want to create two, three, four table at once, how to create using nested while loop. So what I've done, okay, I didn't give I here. So we just got a simple two table. So if I want to create a nested while loop, so what I'll do it here is I'll have a loop inside loop. First I'll write the code and then explain it line by line. So if I'm creating a two table, let's take a You can also try on your collapse, like first make a copy of it, and you can try this with the syntax here. So we have loop, first loop, the given the condition, outer loop body, and then you have the second while loop, and you have one more condition and the inner loop body. So you can try creating it from your end. Let me do it from my end, then I'll explain. So
Hey Madhu,
hi, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry
Yeah.
for joining later.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Like you can like I've send you the copy, like let me share it again. So you
Mm-mm.
can make a copy of it. So I'm just trying to create the nested while loop. Like once I create it, then I'll try to explain it again. So
Sure, sure.
so I just created the nested while loop here where we have loop inside loop. So first I created a variable like first num, like I just created a variable with first num equal to 2. Then I have checked the condition like first num is less than equal to 4. So I want 2, 3, 4 table one after other here. So first let me just run this. So you can see that like we got 2 table, 3 table, 4 table at once. If I just want to change this to 10, then I'll get 10 tables at once. So 2, 3, 4. So after each table, we don't have space, right? So let me just print so extra print statement so that after each table, you would see this asterisk here. So what we have done here is when we have loop inside loop, so it's like a box inside box. So you have the outer loop and you have the inner loop. So this is inner outer loop. So for each outer loop, so outer loop is for this. So this outer loop. This is the inner loop we have it. So outer loop, we are actually checking the condition to enter this. So 2 less than or equal to 10. This is true. So we have entered this while loop here. So once we enter the while loop, the first statement it says is like print table of first num. So we have created first num as 2 here and it just printed this line here. So then we created one more variable here inside the loop, second num equal to 1. So we have created one more variable where we have stored 1 inside this. So we started with 2 table here. So when you check this condition again, we have loop. So you can see this indentation. All these are in one line. So we are creating while loop again. So it checks the condition 2 less than or equal to 10. This is true here. So, okay, sorry, we have created 1 less than or equal to 10. It's true here. So you're not going to enter into the second loop here. Once we entered this outer loop, now we have entered this inner loop now. So once you enter this inner loop, it saw this first print statement again. So print first num is 2 we had, still we have 2 in multiplied by the second num which was 1 equal to 2 here. We just got this line printed. Then it has an increment statement inside the second loop. So we are incrementing the number 1. So 1 plus 1, we are incrementing this to 1 here. So it becomes 2. So to come out of first this while loop, this condition has to become false, right? So it would keep checking like 2 less than equal to 10. So true, still this will be printed. So till the second num becomes 11. So after incrementing it to 11, it checks the condition. So it's false. So it would come out of this loop then. So it would come out of this loop after this condition becomes false where the second num value reaches 11 here. So once you come out of this, it would see one more increment statement which is for the while loop because it's like you have two loops. So we entered the first loop and we entered the second loop. To come out of the second loop, first this condition has to become false. So once you enter, you are back into the first loop. So here again to come out of this again it has to become false here. So it sees first num equal to first num plus 1. This will be increased to 3 now. It will check the condition again 3 less than equal to 10. It's still true. Again the whole process of entering again into the inner loop happens and again you print after 2 table 3 table is printed. Then till this condition becomes false 11 equal to 10 you are inside the first loop. So that's how first this number 2 is changed to like we started with two table. The inner loop runs 10 times. Then again it increments to 3. Again inner loop runs 10 times like this. Loop inside loop is working here. So let me take a other example like this with the same code. What I'm doing it here is, so I'm changing it to 3 and I'm changing this to 4. What would be the output? Okay, I'm changing this to 5. What would be the output? Which tables, from which table to which one it's going to print, and will it print from 2 into 1 to 2 to 10 or in between? What would be the output for this?
This is 3 to 4 table and the count is 5. 3, 1, 3, 2, 3,
Count
3,
is
3.
5. Correct. So it's like only 3 and 4 table since the second one we are putting it till here. So likewise, you can try loop inside loop with more examples. Any question with this? How this is working? We just created one example with nested while loop.
No,
So
it's
if
fine.
this is okay, then we'll, yeah, good. So let's see the concept of functions. So functions concept is there inside other programming languages also. So usually when we have used this print statement, type function, like type function, input function, all of those are also functions. So function is a block of organized reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. So while on functions, function reducing code repetition, organizing the code, improving readability and reusability. So likewise, when we use the ready-made functions, we are not bothered about what is written, like what in the backend code, how Python author has designed it. We are directly using the print statement. So when I use the print statement, so the task of the print statement is to print whatever I have written inside it. When I use this input function, so the task of input function is to give the data type of it. So, but in the backend, okay, input function, sorry, type function is to give the data type of it. Input function will take any input and print it. So, so all these are ready-made functions. We are not writing any code for it. So we are directly using them. So, but if you want to create your own functions, it's like uh, we call them like user-defined functions. So ready-made functions and user-defined functions are two types of functions. You can call it like inbuilt or ready-made. So for creating user-defined functions, the syntax is def keyword. We have to give a name for it. And what are the inputs we are providing? We have to provide inside the brackets, colon again, press enter. You will be inside the block of code and we can write the logic accordingly. We'll take examples to do it here. So again, why we use functions is if we have simple addition problem, like if I have a equal to 10, b equal to 5, if I want to get the result a plus b. So each time I want to do the different numbers addition, I have to repeat this block of code again and again. So I have to repeat this block of code again and again. So instead of repeating that, if I create a user-defined function, I can use that function to give different numbers. And each time I change the numbers, the task of it is to give addition for it. So it would be time saving, it's organized, and you can reuse the block of code. So the functions we'll create first function, first user-defined function, which takes input and returns output. So for the same addition, I want to create a user-defined function. How do I create it is, the keyword is def. I can give any name for it. So let me again give the name add numbers. So I want to add two numbers. So I'll give variable names. So you can give A and B, like any variable names. So colon is mandatory here. Press enter. You will be inside it. Again, indentation is important here. So I want to add two numbers. And here there is one more keyword with user defined function, which is return result. So what is the important of return we are going to see in a couple of minutes. So if I run this, I just created a user defined function here where the function name is add numbers. It is going to be two inputs and it is going to do the addition inside it and it is going to return the result here. So when I run this, you saw like there's no output here, right? So it doesn't give any output here. So there is something called function calling. So we have to call the function. So I can give any number now, 56 plus 98. So if I run this, you can see the output 154. I can call the function with different values each time. You can reuse it. Sorry for the background noise. It's from my dog. So it's 9 comma 10. I've given it's 19 here. So and then if you give more parameters, so suppose like I've created this function with two inputs. So if I just give the third parameter, it would throw error saying like two positional arguments were expected, three were given here. So if there are two inputs while creating a function, so make sure like we give only two inputs accordingly. If not, it would throw error. And there's one more thing here is, so what if we don't have this return function here? So same function, if I don't have this return. So I'm creating a function and the same, like let me just change the name to add number one here. So I'm calling this function again, where I can pass in two inputs and run it. So you see, like, it has created this addition in the backend, but you don't see the result. Even if you just use this variable result and run it would say like result is not defined because we have created this variable inside. So you can create a function with inputs without return function and it won't return anything for us. So the inputs we are passing here for a function like this num1 num2, we call them parameters. We are passing the parameters num1 num2. So when you're calling the function, when you pass this numbers here for doing the actual addition, we call it like arguments and function. So if you have one more function here also you don't have the return, but you have a print statement. Slowly we are going to understand the differences also, don't worry. So for now, we are learning the syntax to create a user-defined function and how we can create a function using this def keyword, colon, presenter to add numbers. And we saw something new, like we have this return statement inside it. What happens without return? We are experimenting this here. So when you create a function without return, we saw like we are not seeing any result here. So there's one more function like def greet is the function name, whatever name you enter here, you have a print statement. So when I run this, so when I'm calling this function greet and giving some name like April, so you saw the output now, like it's printing hello April. So without return, if you just have a print statement, you have something printed, whatever it's here inside the function, it's printed here. So we have to understand the difference now in a couple of minutes. What is the difference between this print and return? So when you have print and return, what is the difference here? So there's one more thing we have observed already is that when you have two parameters function created, you give three parameters, it's going to throw error. So let's see the same addition with a return, but I'm returning here num1. So if I run this function where I'm adding two numbers, again, I have a return function here. So when I call this function, add number two, I'm giving two numbers, 3 comma 5. What do you think would be the output? Will it be 8 or will it be 5? Will it be 3? What do you think would be the error? Will it be error or
But you gave the return as num1, right?
yes? So what do you think the output would be?
It should be only 3, right?
Only 3. Correct. So whatever you are returning using this function, it would return the same thing. Like if I do all other operations of adding two numbers and all, but when I'm uh, using this function add number two, the return is num1 here. So whatever I expect, like whatever we put it after return, this function would return that value for us. So it has done the addition in it, but we cannot use it because returning from this function is this num1. So if you do the same operation, but you are returning hey, so you run it, you add two numbers and run it, it would return whatever is we expect the function to return when you call this function here. So this is how return function works. So if you have a print inside this, print result. So when I run this, you see that the result is printed here, but the value which is written is hey here. So the difference between print and return inside a function, we are going to see it now. So again, we can create functions without return. And so here, if you are expecting the function to like given only updated the value, so you give him 9 comma 8, so it would just give us updated the value here. So if you use the print statement, it would print the value for us. So the difference between print and return function here is print is actually only displaying the output here. So the value which got printed, we cannot reuse it. So in the sense, like you are creating a function here, def add number a and b, result a plus b. You are printing result. So if you store the output inside some variable and print it, so for suppose the same function, I'm running it. I have print here. So whatever this function is printing, so I just run this, right? So I can I can give a name like this. So when I call this function add num, we are trying to understand now difference between print and return here. So when I'm passing the numbers 4 comma 7, so what we expect is 4 plus 7, it is 11 here, right? So I didn't run this. So let me run this. So it seems okay. Like we have print statement, we just got the result 11. So if you want to do some addition to this, so after getting this result of 11, I want to add extra 10 to this. So it says unsupported operand between none type and integer here. So that means it was just the result was just printed here. We cannot reuse it. The same function, if I have the same function with return instead of print, I'm returning this result. I'm returning this result for this function here, and I'm calling this function and giving inputs like 10 comma 10. Obviously output would be 10 plus 10 20 here. But if I want to add extra 10 here, you can see like it's working now. So when we have used print but not return, it displays the output. But if you are trying to do, if you are trying to use this result in some other programming, like whatever result we got it from this user defined function, if you want to reuse it further in the code, it would throw error if you don't have the return statement. But if you have written statement, whatever output you got it, you can actually use it in other different, like wherever it is required. That's the difference between print and return. So print is actually just displaying it. So it's just showing you the output, but you cannot use that output. If you have written, so whatever value is returning, you can reuse it further in the code. So print will print it, but the result but does not return anything. So just take an example and run it from your end. Also see it. Any questions with this print and return? You want me to repeat something here? So even you run this. You see, like print output, it just printed none here. That's why it says like none type plus integer. You cannot add something. So here, add num a comma b, you have result, you don't have written. So whatever output you got it from this function, you're saving it in some variable and trying to print here. So it just shows like, you're printing none here. If suppose the same thing you had written here. This would return 8 and output would be 8. So just cautiously see the difference between return and print. So you saw like when I'm printing this, it just directly print me 8 here. So if I have one more print statement, it would have print both uh, 1 8 for print and one for this is from print. So So 1 8 would have been with this print statement. This from print. Return, we saved it in this output. When you print this output, you got a value 8 here. But when you're printing output for print statement, it just show like, none. There's nothing has printed in the output. So none value means empty value. Is it clear? So you can even create functions with no input, but you can return some output from this. So each time I run this, like there's no input, but each time we just created a function, you can return value Python here. So different types of functions, like the way we want it, we can create it. So functions with no input and no return. So welcome to Python class. So if you want to create a simple sample function where each time you run it, it just have to display a message like this. Nothing else expected from that function. You can create such functions here. Maybe in bank accounts, like sometimes you see just the updates like, press one for add, nothing more expected from that function. So just the display of menu here. So such times you can create a function without input, without return, but just the print statements like this. So the default parameter. So you can give a parameter inside the function, and whenever you run this, so you call this function greet without any value also. It would just show us hello student here, whatever name like default parameter can be set inside this parameters. Let's not go into more details like whenever it's required, we are going to create user defined functions. But don't get confused if you just understood that using def keyword, giving a name, giving inputs. So you can create a user defined function. You want to do the addition, then we create a function for addition. If you want to do some multiplication, then using this def keyword, I can create like if I want to multiply three numbers. So then accordingly the logic changes. Result equal to I want to multiply and we are returning the result. So you can create user defined function. This logic depends on what we are actually trying to create. So you can pass in three numbers. It would give me the multiplication of it. So try creating functions. So take different examples, see the return, see the print, see how the output is. But when you create functions, you have to call it and give inputs and like give this, or we call it like arguments. You can call it like inputs. You can give it and then you'll see the result. So this is how we create user-defined functions in Python. So there is something called global variables and local variables in Python. So let's discuss about this global variable and local variable with a very simple example. So global versus local. So as the name suggests, something is global, something is local here. So when you have this user-defined functions, the variables. So we know variables are something where you can store a value inside it. It's like a container container where you can store a value inside it. The variables declared outside user-defined functions are called global variables. The variables declared inside user-defined functions are called like local variables. So to what is the difference between that? Let's see with an example. So global variable, I'm global, which is like outside this user defined function we have created it. Any function which is created inside this is local. So the difference we'll do it with a very easy example. So which I usually use. So let me use this addition example itself to understand this local and global. So I'm creating a simple function like before where I can pass in two parameters. I'm taking the sum. Same, like I'm just changing the variable names. I'm returning sum here. So when I create this, when I add 1 comma 2, what would be the output when I run this? If this is the same addition we have done before, just the variables changed. If I just run this, what would be the output? Will it be error 3, none? What would be the output if I just run this?
But what was A meaning here? A.
Like if I just run this function, simple function, what would be the result?
No, I mean to say like the value of A was not defined anywhere.
Here, like I'm calling this function where I'm giving two inputs. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, correct. So I'm say, adding b plus c here. So correct. It would have thrown error. So b plus c here. So I'm giving 1 comma 2. What would be the output?
It
It
should
would be
be
simply,
B plus C.
yeah. So b plus c, which is returning the sum. So it would be simply 3 here, right? So the same function, let me add two more variables here. So the same function, what I'm adding here is one global variable. So this is a global variable. Any variable which is outside the function is called as global variable. And I'm creating one more function inside this. So which is called as local variable. Nothing else I'm adding, only one global variable I just created outside this function. Inside this, I created one local variable. Again, sum equal to b plus c. Nothing else I changed, like add number 1 comma 2. If I run this, what would be the output?
It should be same 3.
3, correct. So the same thing, 3, nothing affected. You can create global variables, local variables, it won't throw error. So now what I'm going to do is, so the same global variable, local variable, I have it. I want to add b plus c plus d. What do you think would be the output? I didn't change anything here, like 1 comma 2. I just changed this line here. Extra d got added.
Yeah,
So what do you
5.
think would be the output? 5. Okay. If I run this, correct. So because sum equal to b plus c, which is 1 comma 2, I've already entered. Local variable is created here with value 2 here. So plus 2, it would be 5. So absolutely fine. So with local variable, I just added, I just got the output here. Now what I'm doing here is, already we added d before. So I want to add a also now. What do you think would be the output now?
Yeah, same for 10.
10. Okay, added a now. So absolutely fine. Again, no error. We got it. We did add 1 comma 2 and plus 2, and we just added 5. Totally, we just got the 10 here, right? So with global variable, you can even put it in the sum and add it. But what I want to do it here is,
before adding this a to this sum, I want to increment this a value to some other value. Like from 5, I want to update this value of a to 10. So this is the line I'm just adding now. This line added. So this increment of global variable, we added here in this particular line of code. So if I run this, what do you think would be the output now?
Yeah,
I
15.
modified this value of 5
To 20.
to 15 here,
Yeah, 15.
20. So till now it did work fine, but when I've added this increment, like this increment of global variable, we just added this line here, right? When you want to change this global variable value inside this user defined function, it would throw error. Cannot access local variable A where it is where it is not associated with a value. So for this, when you are accessing global variable inside some user defined functions, and if you want to modify the value, then you have to add one more extra line declaring global as a keyword for this variable, global A. Then you run it, it would work absolutely fine. So the same, the easy example I always give for this is, so it's like you go for as an Indian passport, we have multiple countries, around 50 plus countries where we can take on arrival visa. You can go there without visa. You can do the trip. For example, Maldives, you can go as a tourist, be there for 1 week, have all the facilities, and come back. So when a global variable is going inside this like that, like a tourist, just going in, using all the facilities there and coming back, no error happened here. When as like without visa, if you go for a foreign country and if you want to work there without work permit, then it is illegal there. So the same thing, this global variable, which is going inside this user defined function like a traveler, but without this visa like global associated with it, if you want to do some work inside it, it will throw error. If you give this global keyword, then it would work. So you can correlate with this and remember that global variables are something which are created outside user defined function. If you just want to roam around inside it, use it in some function like without changing its value, it would work. But if you want to modify this value inside it, you have to declare this with this global keyword. Any questions here? Is it
Suppose if
okay?
I just wanted to reuse the global variable A in other program, will that be 5 or now it is changed to 15? What could be the new value of A?
So you can just print this here. So we just changed it to 15. So it's printing 15 here. So we had 5, we just incremented this to 15 here. So the value of A has changed to 15 now when you declare it with global. So whenever you it's good, like whenever you have questions, like just run it, take different examples, take two, three different global variables, do experiment it here, and then try.
So
So
we
this is
know,
about global.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so only if you want to change the value of A, then only we should have this global. Otherwise, we can use directly.
Yeah, just for using it directly like this, like if without modifying it, you can use it because it didn't throw error, you can see it here. But if you want to do some modifications on it, so we have to declare it to be global. So to be on safe side, usually like if you have to use a variable inside, a global variable inside the user-defined function, we declare it with global here. So
So,
this is about global. Yeah,
yeah. So, Minu, if you take out that global, can you copy that code one more time? The new line, new code, the same thing.
without global.
Take out the
I'll
global.
just,
And if I want to take
yeah, I
the,
just,
yeah, if I want to take the value of A through input from the user, I can do that.
you want to take the input from the user like this.
Yeah, int, yeah. So change it to int. No, no, change it to, we need to change it to int, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So this is considered as a local variable or global variable? A.
So here itself, we are creating one variable. It's like we have to go for the concepts of call by reference and call by copy. I don't want to right away complicate things with that. So here it's creating one more variable like with A. So it's we are not using this, but it's like in here when you have same name. So for memory purpose in the backend with Python code, it's like when you take input again here, it's like creating one more variable with the same name. So for memory safe, it's like it would actually, okay, so let me print ID of A. ID would give the memory location of this A here. So for this A here, if I print ID of A again, A inside function. So I'm entering a value 10 here. So the first A which we have created here uh, was 5. The memory location for this was this here, 504, something we created here. Inside the function, we have taken input and created the variable A. This is like with the same name, we have created one more variable. But what happens with such, like now, what happened with this would be the question, right? With this variable here. So with the same name, now whenever you use it, this would be updated the later one. These things go into the, you can say like all this kind of variables which we have created again with the same name would have been gone to the grave kind of in the backend. It's like in the memory management. So sometimes if you we have a code, like if you want to clear out all this variables which are become dead like this, we usually clear them to open up the space. So we'll discuss those things later, but here this is completely a new variable created. Here also you create a variable like this. Let's create it with t equal to 10. So you can check the memory location of this using id function. So this is 664. This is created here. Again, I'm creating something like t equal to 15. So you check the ID of t, it would be different here. So usually when we explain this without this backend codes and all, just to understand how we refer this is the t value, the later one, we can update it. We say like, we just updated this t value. But if you check the memory location of it, it's like you created a variable t equal to 10. When you create one more variable t equal to 15, the memory location has changed. Like it's creating again one more variable with t equal to 15, but this has gone to a grave. You can see like this thing, like this t was not, we cannot, it just got updated. Like the t you use it, it's 15 now. So technically in the backend, it's not like you have 10 and this 10, the same T gets updated to 15. This is not how it is working in the backend management. You created 10. So when you created 15, so this is like, so sometimes we clear the cache and all, like it's like uh, it's still occupying some memory, but you cannot use it. So this is about it. So they don't get complicated with the backend memory management. That's not necessary for us. So, but yeah, when you create variable with the same name, the later one gets updated. So here we are
This
actually
is
creating a new
applicable for
variable.
both local and global variable as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is about global and local variable. And here, this you can try as try like a homework. So write a function that acts like a simple calculator. It should take three arguments. Like you can give like three arguments, two numbers and an operation. Like the calculator, you can give two numbers and a operator. So if you give, you have to write conditions here. So if that operator is plus, for this two number, the result should be addition. If the operator is subtraction, for the two numbers, whatever you enter, the result should be subtraction here. So using hint here, use conditional statements. Try creating a simple calculator with four different operations: addition, subtraction, asterisk, and division here. So we'll discuss about it on Monday's lesson. So try this activity. So then we have something called importing a module. Then we have to start with a Python data structure, which is list. Like variable, we are storing only one single value, right? If you want to store multiple values, we call it like data structures. So there are different data structures. What are they? Very easy to use list data structure. We'll learn this on Monday's lesson. But before we leave for today, I want to show you like how a simple data analysis would look like in Python here. Not on a complicated data set, very simple data set, which is very easy to understand. So let me show you how a data analysis part would look like. There is this tips data set. So we can even download this tips data set from Seaborn library. We are going to discuss this modules, right? So this is how we import modules. There are many different modules. Import like pandas is a module like Seaborn, Matplotlib. So these two are for the plots. So importing is like simple line of code. What are we importing? What is this logic? We are going to discuss in coming lesson. But for loading the data set, there are different ways. All this we are going to learn in after 5 or 6 lessons, like how to load a data set, if you have external files, how to get it to the collab notebook and work. So for now, just ignore this codes. So here we are getting a tips data set directly from something called Seaborn library. So once we get a data set, usually in real time, we do the data analysis part. So exploratory data analysis part is also very important before doing the machine learning modeling, because we should have idea about the data set. We should be able to draw insights about it. So this data set here has total bill in dollars, the tip given on the total bill, and the gender of that particular customer who went to our restaurant. This is a particular restaurant's data set, and the bill and the tip are in dollars. You would be getting the description of the data set, all of that from where we have downloaded it and all. Don't worry about it. Smoker or not, if that particular person was smoker or not, which day he went to the restaurant, the time of the restaurant, like whether he went to the lunch or dinner, size, like if that particular group is 2 or 3. So this is a sample data set. Usually when we work in real time, the data sets we get it. To just understand the data set, it would take like sometimes weeks to months, uh, depending on the data set, how difficult the data set. Sometimes if you have working with healthcare, you have some columns you don't understand. We usually sit with the domain experts and understand the columns. Here, this is very easy to understand. Total bill. Someone goes to a restaurant, total bill is the total bill they paid. Tip given on the total bill, gender column, whether he's a smoker or not, where what day it was, time of the day, lunch or dinner, and the size of the group. We understood all the columns, so it was just a minute since it's a very simple data set. So once we understand the data set, we have only 244 rows and 7 columns. The data sets we handle will have like lakhs of row observations, like 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. For machine learning models, usually 5 lakhs observations would be better. But sometimes there are machine learning models. If you are hearing everything for the first time, just listen like a story, but don't try to get all the technical details. So there is something called machine learning model called XGBoost, AdaBoost, CatBoost. These are the machine learning models. They're actually performing so well these days. Most of the like classic machine learning models, the traditional machine learning models, this boosting algorithms have outperformed this traditional machine learning models. So they are working better with 10 lakh observations too. Before, usually with smaller data sets, at up to 5 lakh observations, we were using the traditional machine learning models. But after that, we were shifting to deep learning. When you have bigger data sets, then we shift to deep learning models, because machine learning has some like cons with it, like with some after some size of it, it won't work much better. So here we just have 244, very simple basic data set. So when you do the analysis, so when you get data set like this, sometimes we have a lot of uh, missing values in it. So we have to clean the data set. Usually we convert all the values to numerical values. You have gender, female, male. We usually convert that to zeros and ones. So numerical values. You have smoker, some categories. You convert that so to numbers. So because machine learning models understand only numbers. So we call it like feature encoding techniques. What are the different techniques for converting this to numbers? So those are the concepts we have to learn. And with this data set, if you want to see only the first 5 rows, there are a lot of ready-made functions. So we have named this data set as tips. So if you use this head function, it would give me like first 10 observations. It's starting from 0 to 9. If you don't give any value, by default, it would show me like only 5. So usually instead of like when you have 5 lakh observations, instead of keeping scrolling up and down, so we kind of want to see only the snippet of it, first 5, or maybe you want to see the first 7. So you can use the head function. If you want to see the last few rows, so I just want to see the last few rows. So you can use this tail function. So a lot of ready-made functions are already available so that we can like do the data analysis in a better way. So you want to know the shape, like what is the number of rows and columns. You have keywords for it. If there are hundreds of columns and you just want to see the column names, so this like columns keyword to get the column names. So when you start with data analysis, we take different data sets, and therein a lot of ready-made functions are also there to help us for our analysis. Depending on what we exactly want to see in the output, we can use the functions. Like on a particular data set, if you want to see what are the count, like what is the average value, minimum tip value, maximum tip value, what are the standard deviation quartiles, we are going to discuss in the statistics lesson. 50% is nothing but the median value. When you use describe for numerical columns, describe works on numerical columns. Just by getting the describe, you can now say like, average bill was $19.78. The minimum bill for that particular restaurant was $3. Median, like middle value, is like 17. Maximum total bill was 50. So directly you can do such analysis. So we have to draw analysis. So the tip given. So $2 is the average tip given. So you can get the describe. Even the filtering rows in a data frame. So if you want to filter only the customers who have given tip more than 5. So don't see the syntax or code how we are writing it. Like I just want to show you like how data analysis part looks like, how we can analyze a data set. So in just 200 rows we can draw some insights. Like if you have bigger data sets, so we have to use our logical skills also for the analysis here. So out of this 240 something customers, if you just provided the filtering condition, right, give me only the rows where tip is greater than 5. So you would see that only the customers where the tip was greater than 5, you just got it in the output. If I say like, just get me the rows where tip is greater than $8. So maybe these are the two only. There are two customers who have given tip more than 8 in this particular restaurant data. So if you want to filter by all the smokers customer details, you want to see like total how many count was there using the shape keyword. But if you want to filter out the details, there are 93 customers who have come for the restaurant who were smokers. So sort values, you want to sort it in the ascending order or descending order, you can use the sort functions. So and then we can sort it by which column, like by total bill I'm sorting in ascending equal to false, like highest bill payment customers are on the starting. So usually this is the collapse standard, like instead of keeping scrolling up and down, it would show only the first 5 rows and last 5 rows. But again, we have functions. For some reason, like, okay, you want to see the whole data set, we can write a code and do it. So even if you want to create some plots, so if I want to create scatter plot and count plot, so there's a from we have imported this matplotlib. This is for creating plots itself. So if I'm creating scatter plot is like for analyzing of bivariate analysis, like you have x-axis and y-axis two values. So x and y you want to create a scatter plot for analysis, you can use the scatter plot. So how easily you can create a scatter plot is plt.scatter is a function on x-axis. So from tips data set, you have 5 columns. If I want to particularly select one column, I can use the syntax like square brackets and this. So you'll select only one particular column. So you get used to all this when we start learning the data analysis. On the x-axis, you have given the total bill. And I want to give y-axis the tip. I want to see the relation, check if there is any relationship between total bill of a particular customer and the tip given. So I can just create it using this plt.scatter, or just by using this one single function. For all 200 customers, I can just create on x-axis, we have total bill, y-axis, we have tip. So just by drawing this, we can do the analysis. So as the total bill is increasing, the tip given is also increasing. So if a total bill is $10, of almost all the customers are given the tip around $2. If the total bill is around $50, the customer tend to give more bill. So just by this, we can draw one insight for data, like we can draw one data analysis insight from this. So these things we have to observe like a data analyst. So once you create plots, like the data set, this ready-made functions. Once you create it, so from this, what are the insights we draw it depends on our logical skills. So this is simple. So we can draw one inside that as for this customer, total bill is increasing. There is a dependency of total bill and tip according to this data set available. If the total bill is high, the tip is given is also high. So there is some relationship between total bill and tip. That is what we can conclude from this. So this is one insight. Likewise, when we have the real-time data sets, we should be able to use all these functions. And finally, we have to draw these insights. If this restaurant has given this data set for us to analyze, we have to uh, use the available functions, create user-defined functions, try to do the analysis and draw insights like this. So then we have to give the final insight saying to the customer, like, there is a relationship between total bill and tip given. As the total bill is high, the tips given is also high. So if a particular customer is making a bill of smaller amount, expect smaller tips from there. So these are the insights, what is expected from a data analyst. So then total bill and tip, we just added x-axis labels, y-axis labels, title by using functions again. So we just added all this using this functions here, tip, total bill like this. So the count plot is nothing but you want to count, like we have this days column, right? So for day, we have Sunday, Monday, like you want to see like what are the different categories available inside this day column here. I can use value counts function. You would see that. So, okay, Saturday there were 87 customers. Sunday there are 76. So a lot of customers have come to this restaurant on Saturdays and Sundays compared to the weekdays. Like, so again, just by this snippet, like seeing only 4 categories repeating, one thing we understand is that this restaurant is open only on Friday, Thursday to Sunday. Monday to Wednesday, this is closed. So then on Saturday and Sunday, there are more customers compared to Thursday and Friday. If this is lot of data points, like 5 lakh observations, something like that, we can get a clear understanding just by doing all this ready-made functions. This is what like data analyst job would look like. So sns.count plot. So we can even visualize this. The same thing for different weeks. You just want to visualize and say like, okay, there are a lot of customers on Saturday. So the count was 87. You even create visual, like there are different type of plots you can create. So I've created count plot here. For Thursday, the count is shown. The Friday count was shown. Friday it was only 19 customers. So you can now conclude that for this particular restaurant, most of the customers are coming on Saturdays. So this type of insights. So how you draw insights depends on your expertise again. So pair plot. So this is again one plot where if you just provide the whole data set, it would create plots between all the scatter plots between numerical values like total bill and size total bill and tip, total bill and bill, you see like only the distribution, like how it is distributed. We'll understand clearly again, like you can see the relationship between total bill and tip. As the total bill is increasing, tip is increasing. Same scatter plot. All at once you can create using pair plot. So this is one thing. Again, we have gender column, right? You want to see the same pair plot by providing the different category. Like for male and female, you want to look at it at different colors. So you can see here. So just by this tip and total bill, what you understand here is females are orange, males are blue here, right? If you see the tip and total bill also, the kind of females concentration is lower. The total bill given by males is higher compared to this orange category. Just by the plot, we can see like everywhere the size, like the group size and the total bill size, tip size of females is less compared to males. We can conclude that from this data set here. So likewise, it won't be so quick in real time. Like we take a lot of time to do the insights, like to observe this. We kind of try different things and then make the final conclusions. So right now we have something called Y data profiling. Like the on a data set initial report, we can quickly generate using this Y data profiling. So if you run this, it would directly generate the initial report for us. So right now, so you can see like how powerful Python is. Like automatically, it would generate the report for the total tips data set for us. So initial report can be generated quickly using this ready-made functions. So yeah, so Python is actually helping a lot for data analysis. Like it would give the whole overall report, like what are the total three numerical columns, four categorical columns, any missing values, zero. Duplicate rows, there is one duplicate row. So directly by generating the report, for us manually finding the duplicate row would be difficult between 250 customers also. See, if you have like lakhs of observations, it's difficult to find the duplicate rows. We have to write some logic there. But just by report generated, you see like there's one duplicate row, the total bill, how it is, what is the minimum value, maximum value. You can generate the report like this directly. How many males are there, how many females are there. So since this data set is easy to understand, we have put in here. But yeah, we are going to learn a lot of different functions. We are going to take different data sets and do the analysis on it. So this is how a simple data analysis would look like. Uh, but we have to learn a lot more. So this is not like yeah, this is how similarly it would look like. But for machine learning, I won't go into details today. So, machine learning modeling on a data set, I'll directly show the codes. I won't discuss anything. There also, first we do the some exploratory data analysis, understand the data set, create some plots. Then the codes would look like this. So we separate what we are predicting, what are the what is actually we are predicting there. If the tips data set is used for machine learning model, based on all other details, you want to predict the tip given by a customer. So if that is your machine learning model, from the past customer details, we are going to train a model, and then we give new customers who come in, you give in the total bill, and you can expect the model generate the predicted tip given by that particular customer. Like that, you can do the uh, modeling. So we have a different data set. So the line of codes, like when you are machine learning modeling in the sense, the coding would be something like this. So what is this train test split and all? So this is a machine learning model. Decision tree classifier is a machine learning model for classifying something. So this four lines of code, whatever we have written it here, is used for training a model. So you have 5 lakhs observations or 10 lakhs observation. Coding part is like this. So 10, 15 lines of code, very similar for each model changes. You are going to do the coding, but the math behind it would be different. So we'll discuss, we'll show this sample machine learning model in the coming, like the coming on Monday, just to show you like, how it would look like. But to reach this point, we have to learn at least 35 to 40 lessons to understand these things here. But I'll show you like if machine learning modeling, we call it, right? So then how it is how it looks like using the coding part. So model building. So this 2 3 4 blocks of code is for model building and evaluation.
So this is how coding looks like, not very how we software engineers code. It's not like that inside this machine learning modeling here, but more of logical skills. That's the name, data scientist. Like more of understanding the concepts is important here. So I'll stop it here for today, not to overload again. So just revise. See you on Monday. So have a nice weekend. If you have questions, you can stay back. If not, yeah, see you on Monday. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.